Well, from street parties to a star-studded concert, Britain is buzzing as they celebrate the Queen's Platinum Jubilee. But what does the future of the monarchy look like following this four-day extravaganza?
Well, our next guest is a well-known journalist and commentator who's been reporting on the royal family for years. Afua Hagan joins us now live from London, England, with all the scoop. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
All right, everything is in full swing as we see. Everything kicked off yesterday. So let's kick off with what exactly is the atmosphere like in London today? Take us there.
Well, the atmosphere over the past 2 days has been absolutely electric. Actually, from Wednesday, from when rehearsals were taking place, I saw some rehearsals for the concert tomorrow and for Trooping of the Colour, and the excitement was already building. So loads of crowds gathering around Buckingham Palace, lots of people turning out for the Trooping of the Colour, for the flypast there, and lots of crowds today around St Paul's Cathedral, everybody wanting a glimpse of the royal family going in and out of that prestigious, beautiful building. So everywhere the atmosphere is buzzing, lots of people wearing Union Jacks, and even people who aren't necessarily attending Jubilee events, turning out to see the royal family, people who aren't monarchists or royals, are still enjoying this four-day weekend. And I think there's also an air of this. It's been a long time since people have been able to get together in the way we can. It's been a long time since people have attended Queen's birthday events. It's been 2 years. So everywhere, everybody seems to be in a really good mood. And in London, long may that continue.
All right, well, let's talk about the lady of the hour. 70 years is remarkable. Let's talk about the longevity and success of the Queen's reign. What do you think it is about the Queen that got her to where she is today?
That's a really good question. The Queen ascended to the throne at a time of grief after the death of her father. And, she really took over at such a young age with such grace and such determination. And, she brought the Commonwealth together. It was the end of the British Empire and everything that went along with that. And so she worked hard to build the Commonwealth of Nations, supporting partners to work alongside Britain. That's really going to be one of her legacies. And also she brought the country through a time of war. She herself actually served in the Second World War and brought the country through a time of war, a time of rationing, kind of like what we've had now, after a really dark period, she brings the country through. And I think she's been steadfast through these 70 years, that keep calm and carry on mantra is something that the Queen really has, exuded the whole time that she's reigned. And I think she has modernized some areas of the monarchy. There's more modernization that certainly needs to be done, but she's been steadfast through that whole time, a real stalwart and a real figure. And I think people have a lot of affinity for her for that.
Speaking of affinity, we're presenting or, celebrating the present, but we are also looking to the future. And when Charles takes over the throne, there's, fear among some that the monarchy will go downhill or maybe continue to go downhill, depending on your perspective. Do you actually see this happening?
I don't think there's going to be the same affinity for Prince Charles or King Charles as he will be then as there is for the Queen. And I think that's for many reasons. I think partly because the Queen is a woman. I think partly because of Prince Charles and his relationship with Diana and now his relationship with Camilla, who's going to be his Queen consort. I just don't think he's going to have the same sort of steadfastness, the same affinity that people have with the Queen. I don't think that will necessarily translate to Prince Charles. But I think Prince Charles knows that the royal family is in need of modernization. He himself has talked about the need for a stripped back royal family, not too many working members. We saw that on the balcony, 17 working members of the royal family. We know that he wants to keep it that way and keep it small. And that's one way of modernizing the royal family. But I think we are going to see more states deciding that they don't want the Queen necessarily to be head of state, as we've seen that's happened with Barbados. We could see the Bahamas, Jamaica next. You might even see Republican votes in Canada and Australia. And so I think there's going to be more of that happening and more countries realizing that perhaps the past of the royal family, the British Empire, doesn't fit with a multicultural future.
And let's talk about that other son in the family that people aren't so crazy about. According to reports, Prince Charles didn't see eye to eye with the Queen when it came to Prince Andrew's presence at late Prince Philip's memorial. What do you think is going to happen to Prince Andrew when the Queen passes away?
I think that Prince Andrew will more or less just be completely out of the public eye. And I actually think that is starting now. We haven't seen him at any Jubilee events. He has COVID at the moment, so of course he's self-isolating. But I think even if he had been well, we wouldn't have seen him front and center of many or any of the Jubilee events. And I do think that when the time comes when, unfortunately, the Queen passes away and Prince Charles is head of state, I don't think we will see anything of Prince Andrew.
Oof. So speaking of, the continuation of this, can the monarchy survive long enough, do you think, for Prince William and Kate to make an impact when they eventually succeed Charles?
I think the monarchy will still be around when Prince William becomes king. I don't think it will be necessarily the huge big deal that it is now, but I think, the royal family has been around, excuse me, for such a long time, since time immemorial. And I think it's something that United Kingdom will keep having, will keep the royal family. Whether they will have as much impact, I'm really not sure. I think it will definitely be a scaled back royal family. I think for events like Jubilees, we perhaps won't see so much pomp and pageantry. And I think why we are seeing it for the Queen is, she is the only monarch to reach a platinum Jubilee. Who knows if anybody else will be so lucky to do the same thing. But I think we'll see a stripped back, more modernized version of the royal family when Prince William becomes king.
All right, and let's keep talking about William and Kate, because they faced a wave of criticism both during and after their visit to the Caribbean nations of Belize, Jamaica, and the Bahamas. Now, recent studies say most Canadians want to abolish the monarchy. What do you think it will take for Commonwealth countries to pull the plug on the monarchy? Do you think that will ever happen?
I don't know if all Commonwealth countries will pull the plug on the monarchy, like you said. I think a lot of countries are coming to the reckoning that, in fact, having the royal family as a head of state or having the Queen as head of state doesn't really do anything for them. And actually, removing the Queen as head of state allows them to make more decisions for themselves. And like you said, that has been happening. It's happened with Barbados. It looks like the Bahamas and Jamaica are going to go down that road as well. And I think until the royal family will really engage in proper discussions about reparations, about the effects of slavery and the effects of slavery, the effects that slavery are still having today. I think until those discussions will happen, you will see more states deciding that, look, we will just remove the Queen and the royal family as our head of state. But actually, will the royal family ever engage in those discussions? I'm really not sure, and I don't think so. So I think countries, upon seeing that the royal family are not prepared to engage in those discussions, will say, we cannot take you forward into our future, and therefore we need to let you go and leave you in our past.
Quickly, I know we're getting close to time here, but Harry and Meghan are in London for the festivities. What do you see for their future as related to the royal family?
Yes, we did see Harry and Meghan today at the service in St. Paul's Cathedral. Meghan looking absolutely beautiful in Dior. Look, I think Meghan and Harry are going to continue doing what they're doing, going their own way, whether that's making podcasts, whether that's making documentaries with Netflix. But I think we are going to see rifts healed, and I actually am sure that rifts are already healed within the royal family. Harry's biography is coming out later on this year, and I'm sure that's going to cause some upset in the media, certainly. I'm not sure about the family, but I think, yes, we will continue to see them perhaps at some royal events, but they're going to continue living their lives in the way that they see fit. I don't think we'll see them again as working royals. They've already made that decision not to be, but I think we can expect them at some upcoming royal events if there's anything big like this happening, but they're going to keep doing their own thing. I'm absolutely sure of that.
And finally, we leave it where we began with Queen Elizabeth herself. What's next for her after this weekend?
I almost think this is Queen Elizabeth's way of signing off. This is the last big hurrah for her, and she's going to take more of a laid-back role, a low-key role in the royal family. I don't think that she'll hand over the reins to Prince Charles before she passes away. I think she will still be our monarch, but I think this is probably one of the last times we're going to see her at such a huge event. And 96 years old, it's time for a rest. She has served diligently for 70 years, and well done, Your Majesty. But I think this is kind of the signing off and the last big party for her.
It really is. Fia, what a lovely pleasure to have you with us today, and thank you so much for your insights.
Thank you.